Newbie, listen to me. Forget about the Darkright, Demonite, and all other fancy stuffs you saw on shorts, because rushing levels or obsessing over materials before you have a solid money foundation is the worst start you can have in the Forge. And yeah, that sounds counterintuitive at first, because this is the Forge. Why shouldn't I hoard in my ores or level up my skills first? But trust me, as someone who already reached late game level, those things come second after the money. But why is that? If it's true, how can you grind money most efficiently? All of those questions will be answered in my video right here. So without further ado, drop a like and a subscribe and let's jump into it.
Oh my God!
First things first, let's talk about why money matters more early on. In Forge, leveling is honestly not that impactful compared to other Roblox games. The only truly critical milestone is reaching level 10, because that's when you unlock the ability to move from Stonewake to Forgotten Kingdom. That transition is important, no doubt about it. But beyond that, leveling mainly unlocks a few small quality of life upgrades, like slightly bigger inventory size, more stamina, and extra race slots. These sound nice on paper, but none of them are hard requirements for efficient grinding. A smaller inventory just means you run back to sell or craft more often. Less stamina can be compensated by using certain races like Elf, Shadow, or Angel, or by equipping runes that help with endurance, like Ragemark paired with endurance enchantments. Even race slots aren't something you need to rush, because you can simply save up rerolls and spin multiple times later until you land a strong race, or just buy slots directly with Robux if you really want to. So when you look at it objectively, levels in Forge are more of a convenience than a necessity after that initial level 10 checkpoint. Now let's talk about materials, because this is where things get interesting. Unlike levels, materials are absolutely essential if you want to go further into the game. Stronger enemies demand better armor and weapons, and there's no way around that. You can't outskill or outrun everything forever. At some point, you need raw stats, and raw stats come from good gear. Good gear requires good materials, and here's the key problem most players run into. You can't efficiently farm good materials without a good pickaxe, and you can't get a good pickaxe without spending money. That's the core loop. If your pickaxe is weak, not only will mining be painfully slow, but some rocks will literally be impossible to mine due to damage thresholds. For example, if you want to mine volcanic rock to get Darkright and Demonite, which are among the best materials in the entire game, your pickaxe needs at least 100 base damage. If you want to mine basalt veins for mid-tier ores like Lightlight and Mithril, you still need around 78 base damage. Meanwhile, the early game pickaxes like the Iron Pickaxe, sitting at a base damage of 10, can't even scratch these rocks no matter how patient you are. You could sit there clicking for an hour and still get nothing. So at the end of the day, if you want to farm materials properly, you are forced to invest in a stronger pickaxe, and that means grinding money first. There's no shortcut around it. So now that we've established why money comes first, let's get into the most efficient way to actually grind it. One of the biggest beginner traps in Forge is selling raw ores directly to NPCs, and I get why people do it. It's fast, it's convenient, and the NPCs are placed in very accessible spots. On Stonewake Island, the ore buyer is basically right outside the cave entrance, and on Forgotten Kingdom Island, he's chilling near the potion area. You mine some ore, walk a few steps, sell it, and boom, instant money. The problem is that this method is insanely inefficient. You're throwing away a massive amount of potential profit just to save a bit of time. Let me give you a simple example. If you take 10 pieces of titanium and sell them directly, you'll get around 170 coins. That's it. But if you instead take those same 10 pieces of titanium and forge them into gloves, you can sell the gloves for about 210 coins. That's already a 20% increase just by taking one extra step and using the Forge. And this is the bare minimum improvement. This is the lazy version of crafting for profit. The real money comes when you understand what items scale best with material investment. Instead of crafting small gear pieces like gloves or boots, you want to save up enough materials to craft large weapons, specifically colossal swords or great axes. These weapons require 30 ore in total, and here's the important part. Those 30 ores don't need to be the same type. You can mix different ores as long as the total count hits 30. That flexibility makes this strategy incredibly powerful. The reason these weapons are so good for money is because their sell price scales far better than smaller items. Instead of a tiny 20% profit increase, you're looking at multipliers ranging from 1.5 times all the way up to 3 times the raw material value. For example, if you take 30 cobalt and sell them directly, you'll get about 450 coins. Not terrible, but not amazing either. Now, take those same 30 cobalt and forge a colossal sword. That sword can sell for up to 1,200 or 1,300 coins. Even if you're unlucky and only get a great axe instead, you're still looking at around 900 coins. that's nearly double the money at worst, and almost triple at best. And again, you don't even need all 30 ores to be cobalt. You can throw in other cheap or common ores to hit the requirement. This single strategy alone is what separates slow grinders from players who suddenly feel rich in the early and mid-game. Now let's talk about where you should actually farm to make this process as efficient as possible, because location matters a lot. If you're still relatively new to the game, your best farming spot is near the back cave entrance, specifically the slope area that doesn't have NPC tents set up. The reason this spot is so good is because the enemies there are mostly rogue skeletons. They're weaker, they spawn in smaller numbers, and most importantly, they're kind of dumb all. A lot of the time, they get stuck on rocks instead of properly chasing you, which makes it much safer to mine without constant interruptions. On top of that, this area has plenty of basalt rock, which is easy to mine as long as you're using at least a platinum pickaxe, or the stonewake pickaxe. The rocks also tend to cluster together, letting you mine multiple nodes without moving much, which is perfect for semi-AFK farming. If you've been playing for a while and you're more comfortable with more dangerous place, then the left tunnel of Ashen Passage is where you want to be. The enemies here are mainly axe skeletons, which are definitely more dangerous than rogue skeletons, but they have one big weakness. The tunnel layout. The maze-like structure makes it really easy for them to get stuck or lose pathing, so as long as you keep moving, you can escape them without fighting. This area is loaded with basalt core nodes, especially near the tunnel entrance that leads into the larger inner cave. There are usually 2 basalt cores there that respawn frequently, making it an insanely consistent farming loop once you get the hang of it. Server selection is another underrated factor that can massively impact your efficiency. If you have access to a private server, use it. No competition, no one stealing your nodes, no random mobs dragged into your mining spot by other players. But if you're playing on public servers, there's still a smart way to do it. Open the server list and sort it so the player count increases, then look for servers with around 2 players. Avoid servers with only 1 player. Those are usually servers that are about to reset, and if you join them, they'll fill up almost immediately, defeating the entire purpose. A server with 2 players is usually stable and quiet enough to let you farm in peace. Finally, here's a PC-only trick that a lot of players don't know about, and it's perfect if you want to farm without constantly clicking. Once you're standing at your mining spot, hold down the left mouse button to start mining. While still holding it, press escape to open the Roblox menu. Then release the left mouse button. After that, press escape again to close the menu. Your character will continue mining automatically. It will only stop if you click again or switch tools. This lets you semi-AFK farm without using any auto-clicker software, which keeps things safe and simple. And that's pretty much it. If you take anything away from this, it's this. Money is your first step of everything in Forge. Levels can wait, materials come later, but money unlocks the tools that let you do everything else efficiently. Once you start crafting smart and selling the right items, the game stops feeling grindy and starts feeling rewarding. Trust me, chat, try this out, and if you find this useful, like and subscribe so you won't miss any future videos.